No worries.
You up? Yep. All right, it being 5:31 p.m, I'll declare open the special council meeting of the Shire of Capel for the 14th of June. We wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are meeting on, the Wadani people. We wish to acknowledge and respect their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all members of the Aboriginal communities and their culture, and to their elders past and present, their descendants who are with us today, and those who will follow in their footsteps. Record of attendance, we have 6 councillors in attendance tonight. Councillor Peter McCleary is an apology. And under Regulation 14C 2B of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, Councillor Sebastian Sciano has been approved to attend this special meeting of the Council for the 14th of June 2023 via telephone. As per Regulation 14C5, Councillor Sciano has advised he will attend the meeting from the location where confidentiality can be maintained and considered that acceptable should it be necessary. A member who attends a meeting under this regulation by electronic means and determined under Sub-Regulation 2 is taken to attend and be present at the meeting for the purposes of the Act and these regulations, while a member is in contact by those electronic means with each other member present at the meeting. We now move to public question time. Haven't received any questions on notice, and there is no members of the public in the gallery tonight.
Excuse me, Doug, so through the chair, so you said 6 were in attendance, so we actually have 7 councillors in attendance with Councillor Shishana.
It was 6 councillors physically in attendance.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
We'll move on to declarations of interest. I haven't received any, and there are no notice of items to be discussed behind closed doors. There are no announcements by the presiding member without discussion, and there are no petitions, deputations or presentations. We now move on to item 8.1, the 2023-24 draft annual budget, annual rating strategy and differential rates. Is there a mover for that item? Councillor Noonan. A seconder? Councillor Andrew. Councillor Noonan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move the item as read.
Councillor Andrew. As the seconder, you have to call. Yes. Well, you'll have the right of reply, Councillor.
Caught me on the hop. I guess all I wanted to say was that we have workshopped this over many, many weeks. I think it's quite fair, the way that we've distributed the increases. I don't think that any of the increases are overly onerous on ratepayers and residents. I think that we were really conscious of just how much, not necessarily the percentage, but I think all the councillors were really conscious of the annual dollar figure of what the rates were going to increase for those especially that aren't on minimum rates. And that we've put a lot of work into this as councillors, but then also as staff. I'd hate to think how many hours Sam, as the Director of Finance and Corporate, has put into this, with us asking for changes and to see things a bit of a different way. Hours and hours of work and consideration has gone into this item, and for once I'm actually quite happy with it when it comes to rates. So yeah.
Are there any speakers against the item? Speakers for? Councillor Tarantroy.
I just want to support everything that Councillor I was thinking Cara. Sorry, Andrew. And yeah, we have workshopped this so much, and the staff have been really helpful and very transparent. I applaud the time that's gone into this and how we've been able to really ask so many questions of staff and get responses in these workshops, and also via email. So if we had issues, they were answered. And yeah, it's fair, it's equitable, it's compliant, which we need to be with the Local Government Act, and and I think it's fair. The cost of living is affecting everybody, and all councillors agreed we didn't want to put an extra burden on the householder and ratepayer and the renter, because renters also, although they don't pay the rates directly, it's put into the rent that they pay to live in the Shire of Capel. So yeah, the staff have been amazing. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers for this item? Councillor Dillon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Firstly, I want to congratulate the Director of Community and Corporate on the hard work that she and her team have done, and all the executive staff on our draft budget for next year. I think it's a really informed councillor group that's going to be voting on this item tonight. I think there's a couple of key points that I wanted to broach with our residents if they're watching or following proceedings. We're really going to be looking at our asset renewal and maintenance, which takes a bit of money. So we're going to be looking at that. We're talking about formulating a Shire waste strategy, which I think has been a bit of a bubbling item out in the community on numerous fronts. There's things that we as a Shire and we as a councillor group want to do for our community, and we need to start saving. So we're going to start looking at putting a little bit more money away, just like any responsible household would be doing. We as a Shire need to be doing the same. We've got some big plans for the future, be it the Dalyalup Surf Lifesaving Club. We need to look at investing some money in some of our bridge infrastructure, which is not cheap. We need to start planning now for the replacement of the Boyne-up sale yards, and maybe looking at an agribusiness precinct as well. And our Dalyalup sporting facilities need to be looked at from a Shire perspective as well. So we're going to start putting some money away for that. After a bit of a serious hike, admittedly, last year, I think this is quite a modest budget, which is a good thing. I think the councillors are very mindful of people who are doing it tough out there. If you look at comparable local governments around the area, they are copping quite serious increases above what we're proposing here. And I would encourage all councillors to support the item as presented this evening. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers to the item? No? Does the member wish to exercise the right of reply?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, just to endorse the comments of my fellow councillors, the staff have worked very hard over a long period of time to prepare the budget. They have given us multiple briefings, I think, and that's been really, really good. I think as councillors we're much more informed. We've been in the loop, very much so. And I think we appreciate the the work that's gone into it, the planning, both in the short, the medium, and the long term for this rates, and we've been mindful of increases in the Landgate's evaluation. 13% rise in the UV across the Shire. We know that we do compare very favourably with our neighbouring shires and cities. It's worth noting that the minimum rate hasn't changed, that the rating structure is compliant with the statutory requirements. So I thank the staff for preparing it, and also encourage councillors to support the motion.
With that, I'll put the item to the vote. Those in favour? Councillor Sciano, could you please state whether you're for or against the item?
For.
And that item is carried unanimous. There are no items for consideration behind closed doors, and there being no further business on the agenda tonight, I'll declare the meeting closed at 5:41. Thank you very much for your attendance. And just in closing, I will say the Shire is hosting 2 community town hall workshops for discussion on the Shire's draft rating strategy and annual budget. The first being held on Monday the 19th of June at the Dalyalup Community Centre from 6 to 8 p.m, and the second on Tuesday the 20th of June at the Capel Community Centre from 6 to 8 p.m. Thank you very much.